Good day everyone, you are welcome to Technical Drawing Made Easy channel. Today we are going to look at drawing of a tangency problem in technical drawing. This tangency problem is the construction of an electrical bulb. This bulb is the first type of bulb we had when the bulb was invented, before we now start having these LED bulbs that we have around. Before you can be able to draw shapes like this using knowledge of principles of tangency, you must first learn the principles first. Principles needed to have this knowledge, the principles needed to be able to construct a bulb like this. There are principles of how to join a curve to a line and how to join external arcs and internal arcs. So you must be able to join external arcs and internal arcs to a line or to another curve. So you need this knowledge before you can be able to do so. If you don't have this knowledge, you have to go and watch my previous video on that. I made a video on that, so please go and watch that video. Then you'll be able to apply this knowledge. So we have this challenge for today, and I'll be showing you how to draw this bulb you are looking at here. So if you look at the bulb, this is the shape and the dimensions are given on it. So you have to follow. Most important about the dimension, anywhere you see R, this is wrongly written. It is wrongly written. This is the right way to write to dimension and arc. It is capital letter R in front of the dimension itself. So it's supposed to be R20, not 37R. So the dimension is wrong. I just got this from the internet to show this video. So please come along, follow me, let's start. So when we have a problem like this, I have this bulb here. I have to start from the center lines. So you need to analyze the diagram you are given, the drawing you are given first before you start, for you to know where you start from. And remember, every construction starts from an horizontal line. Every construction starts from an horizontal line, like I keep saying in my videos, if you are following my videos. So for me to start, the best center point I can start from, there is a center here, there is a center here, there is a center here. It has three center points, which is center of a circle, and another center here. So I'm going to start from this center here because it's the, so I have to what? I have to start from the center. You also have to plan your space. Since I know that once I draw this line, it has to go this up and it has to come this down. So I have to make provision for that. So I'll make provision for that, and there is provision for the upper part. So I'll start with a horizontal line, a thin line, which is the center line. So the next is I will draw my vertical line. So I'll draw it like this. I will extend it down. Thin lines, always. You don't thicken the work from the beginning. You have to use construction lines. Thin, continuous line. So this is the construction line, which is called a thin, continuous line. So I'll draw a thin line continuously up like that. What is the next step? There is a circle here. But only part of the circle, which is an arc, is what I need. So I have to start from that circle. What is the radius of the circle given? 37. So I will take my compass. We use a compass to draw a circle. So I'll take my compass and I'll measure 37. I will measure 37. So after taking the radius 37, I will then come back to this center point here and draw my circle. Thin lines, please, because it's not everything that will be thickened. So thin lines. So this is my 37. After that, I will now start the drawing from there. First, I can see this dimension given here. It's a vertical length. So I'm told that from this point to these two centers here is 80. Is 80. So I'll take my ruler and mark the point 80 like this. Mark the point 80. This point. So when I mark that point 80, I will draw the center lines using thin lines. Thin lines. I'll mark the point 80. Can you see that now? Good. From that, I can also see that I'm giving this length here to be what? To be 9. From here, from this center line here, up here is 9. So I'll also what? I'll also measure the length 9 millimeter. 9 millimeter, that's 0.9 centimeter. So all construction lengths are given in millimeter always. So I'll just draw my line 9 like this. Can you see that now? I also see that I'm giving from this point to this point as 6. You see, the 9 is the length of the circle, the radius of the circle here. So definitely from here to here is 9. This radius 9 here. From here to here is 9 because this circle there's a circle here that has radius 9. So from here to here is 6. So I'll measure 6 now. I'll measure 6. This point is 6. So I'll also draw a horizontal thin line to mark that length. Can you see that? Then, after that, I have another slight little measurement here. From here to here is 3. Follow the question. So I'll also come here and measure out 3 like this. I'll measure out 3. Yeah. Can you see that? Then the next length up is what? Look at this place. From this point to this point, that is what? 15. So I'll come up here and take my measurement 15. A measurement 15 here. Do you see? 15. So all the measurements, the vertical length you are given along that part, I will what? I will lay it out. I'll lay it out. After I've taken all the vertical measurements from this point up here, 80, from this point up here, 9, from this point up here, 6, from this point up here, 3, from this point up here, 15. I've taken all that measurements. You can go ahead and cross-check again. Then I will now take the horizontal measurements. That is the width, how wide it is. I'm going to take the measurement. So the first rectangle there tells me that the width is 21. The width is 21. So on the line I have, the topmost line I have, they tell me it is 21. If you look at it, that 21 has a center line. So that is to tell you that 21 means 10.5 on the left, 10.5 on the right. 10.5 plus 10.5 will give me 21. So I'll come up here and I'll what? I will draw 10.5 on the left, 10.5 on the right. So I'll come here and measure 10.5 on the left, 10.5 on the right. You see that? I'll take the measurement of 10.5 on the left and 10.5 on the right. So the next thing is I will clean off the excess line I have there. I'll clean off the excess line I have there, and I will what? I'll thicken the part that is needed, which is the part of the object. So I will clean off this. I want to clean off this excess line that is up here. I'll clean off this one, and I'll clean off this one. So as you are drawing a tangency line work, you make sure you clean off as much as possible unnecessary lines. Lines that are not necessary, you clean them off. You are not to clean your construction lines, but you should minimize as much as possible the construction lines you have. So I have this line, which I'm going to what? I'm going to thicken this place. That is 21. And the height given there is 15, which I've measured earlier. So I'll draw it down. I'll draw it down like this. You see? And I also draw it down like this using thin lines. I want to see where it gets to. So I'll clean off the excess line also here. Clean off the excess line also here. Do you see that? So I'll go back and thicken the part that is required, the part that is needed. So I'll join the line like this. I'll come to the other side and join the line like this. So the question asks us to have a rectangle here which is 21 in length and 15 in height. So if you go to the next one, the height here is 3 and we are given the length. If you look at it, the length here is 25 and this is the point. If you see the line goes from this point to this point, 25. So I'll go to the next line here. So if you look at it, it also has a center line. Is that not? So that means what? I have to divide it into 2. 25 into 2, that will give me 12.5 on the left, 12.5 on the right. 12.5 on the left, 12.5 on the right. So I'll come here and I'll measure 12.5 millimeters. That is 1.25 centimeter. So I'll mark 12.5 here, and I'll also come here and mark 12.5 on the right, like this. So I have this. Can you see now? So I'll also clean off the excess line I have here, and I'll also clean off this excess line I have here. You see that? So this point here is to touch this point with inclined line. This point here is also to touch this point with inclined line. So before I draw that, I'm going to thicken this line. Give it a thick line. Then I'm going to join these 2 points using a ruler. And I'm also going to join this other side using a ruler like this. So that point I have here, I'm going to join it using a ruler like this. After joining it, the line comes vertically down. The line comes vertically down. So I am going to I am going to draw this point vertically down with a thin line first. going to draw this one vertically down with a T line first for me to see where it gets to. The vertical line should be drawn using your T-square and your set square. Please don't just draw vertical lines with your ruler. No, it will not be straight. It will not be straight. So I have to draw the vertical line with my set square always on my ruler anytime I want to draw a vertical line. So to draw a horizontal line, I use my T-square in my board, my drawing board. So I'll thicken that part, then come back to thicken this part. Can you see our bulb coming up? The shape or template we are given. So I'll thicken that. So can you see the top part is forming up? Good. So after that, we are coming down. So the down aspect tells me that there is a center line here. There is a center line here. This is this center line. And it tells me that the distance from this point and this point is 9. And this point and this point is 9. So I have to first look for this center first. I have to look for what? This center first. So how do I find the center? How do I find this point, this center point here? Are we getting that? And how do I find it's the same thing for the other side? So you have to think. So how do I do it? Look at this point here and this point here. So that is what? That is what is going to give me the center. So before I draw that, I'm giving that the length from here to here is what? Is 37. So before I can do that, I have to first draw this 37 first. Are you following? I have to first draw this 37 length first. So what will I do? I will take my ruler and I will divide 37 because there's a center line. I will also divide 37 into 2. So 37 into 2 is I think that should be 18.5. That should be 18.5. So I'll measure 18.5. 18.5. So this is 18.5. On the other end also, I'll measure 18.5. On the other end, I'll measure 18.5. So this is my length of 37, 18.5 on the left, 18.5 on the right. So I'll also draw a what? A vertical line, thin vertical line, please. Just draw a thin vertical line like this, thin vertical line like this. You see that? Thin vertical line should not go too down. Clean off excess lines there. Clean off excess lines there. Do we see this? Clean off excess lines there. Then I will now mark out the center. I'll look for the center because they tell me that this line that comes here from here to here is what? 9. Look at it. The radius is 9. So on my compass, I will measure the length 0.9 centimeters. So I'll come here and measure 0.9 centimeter. 0.9 centimeters. So from this point, can you see? I'll come to this point here and I'll mark this point. So that point is what? 9. From here to here should be 9. From here to here should be 9. So I also come to the other side and do the same thing. From here to here, 9. From here to here, 9. So this is my center point. This is my center point C1. I'll set C2 for this arc and this arc. So I'll go ahead to draw the arc. So I'll come here now. To that point, you can see it's touching. and I want to plane that line that goes up. Avoid as much as possible. The construction lines should not be too excessive on your work. You get it now? You can see I'm planing off this one, but we should see the construction lines. It should not just be too excessive on your drawing so as to make your drawing work look good. So I'm going to come to this point and I'm going to draw my arc. Can you see it? I'm going to come to this point. Can you see it? It's styling very well. Can you see that? So I'll also come to the other side and I'll draw my arc. You check first, when you place it at the center, you check if your edges are meeting. Please, you check if your edges are meeting. That is how you draw, please. You have to make sure if your edges are touching. So you have to make sure before you draw. And avoid multiple strokes. Avoid multiple strokes. So turn off that part like that. I want to see if I can try this, because when it is little dimensions like below 10 or around 15, your compass, your normal compass will fail you in drawing it very well. So that's why I brought out this my engineering set to draw it very well. So I don't like the way there are multiple lines there, so I'll plane it and give it a proper thickness. So you have to make sure you have a neat work. Neatness is part of what is being marked in technical drawing, which is very important. Neatness is very important in technical drawing. So you have to make sure that your work is neat. And how do you make sure it's using the right instrument? So I clean off that and I'm drawing it over again. Drawing it over again like this, giving it a good work thickness. So can you see that? So it's better now at that point. It's better at that point. So go back, because I print some parts off. Okay. So I've gotten that side. So I've gotten this arc and this arc. You can see that arc is part of a circle. It is part of a circle. So the next I'm drawing now is how to join this circle to this arc that I've drawn here. And you have to check the radius of that arc. You have to check the radius of that arc. And take note, that line, this arc is touching this, is meeting this line and this line. So, and they tell us the radius is what? 75. The radius is 75. So how do I achieve that? First, I have to draw this line down because I don't know where it will touch the line. I have to also draw this one down a little because I don't know where it will be touching the line. So to join this now, your knowledge of joining of an arc and a line comes in. So for me to join this very well, they tell me the length is what? 75. That means from this line that I have here, I have to first measure, before, let me go from the circle first. Since this arc, do you see it? Joining this circle and this line, this line arc is an external arc. External arc. If a line, look at this, I will demonstrate this down here. If a line, the line comes this way, and there's a circle here. If you notice, the arc touches the line, and can you see? It touches the line and the circle externally. Externally. If it is internally, if this is a line and this is a circle. If it is internally, it's going to touch it this way. Can you see it? It's going to touch it this way. That means it will bend inside. So this is an external arc, while this is an internal arc. I hope that is clear. So to draw an external arc, I have to find the center of that arc. I have to add is addition. The method is addition. So we add 37 to 75. 37 to 75 is 102. No, 112. 112. So that is 11.2. 11.2. So from the center here, so I'll add this radius to this radius. That is 11.2. So I'll take my ruler. I'll get my ruler, and I'll measure the length 11.2. So across like this, I'll measure 11.2 like this. 11.2. So this is my 11 point. This is my length 11.2. When you do the measurement, it's 11.2. So from here, from this point, I will mark an arc here, and also at the other side, because I'm also joining it to the both side. I'll mark an arc here, and I'll also mark it here, like this. Can you see that? So from this line now, from this line, I will also measure 75 now, because it touches this line. So I will measure 75. So for the line, you are not drawing from any center, so you are not adding. So I'll just measure 75 like this. Measure 75. This is 75. So I will come here, and I will cut. I will also come to the other side of the line, and I will cut. So these 2 points must be seen in your construction, because that is the construction you want to see. And you have to label it as your center. So I have that's the center of that arc, this arc and this arc. You have to show that. Most times you circle it a little, label it if possible, C3, center 3, and C4. So when we see your drawing, we must see where the center is. And it's also a reference, so that when you make a mistake or when you want to thicken your work, you can go back to it. So look at it. Look at it. So now I'm ready to draw my what? I'm ready to draw my shape. So your arc. So to draw my arc now, it must touch this line and also what? And also touch this side. So I'll clean off this. A little, clean off this now, a little. Since I've gotten where it is. Can you see that now? So I will now come back to this center, and what? Where it touches this my circle, I'll start from the point where it touches the circle. That's your point of tangency, like this. I'll make sure it is thick, like this. Do you see that? Yes. So that is the arc. Then I'll also come here to this other side. Trying to get the point. Yes. It must touch this point here. Touch this point here. Yes. So I'll thicken it right from this point here. Be very careful with your compass. So I'll draw my arc from here like this till it touches the circle. Till it touches the circle like this. So it touches the circle at that point. Can you see that now? So after it touches the circle, the next thing I'm going to do, because I drew the circle first, thin lines, because I don't know what part of the circle will be needed. See this point and this point here, around the side. So I will now go back to ticking only the part of the circle that is needed. So the length of the circle is 37. So I will just place it on top of it. And I will now tick in the part of the circle that I need. Ticking only the part of the circle that I need. Only the part of the circle that is needed. Your compass, if you're having challenge with your compass because of the quality of the compass, just clean it off. When you get the actual length, then you draw over it. Thicken it, let it have the same thickness. When you are doing technical drawing, it is very important that you have a uniform thickness. Take note, it's very important that your drawing have uniform thickness all through. Even though the lines are drawn separately, but you have to give them the same thickness. So can you see what we have here? This is what you are asked to draw. When you are drawing a question of tangency, please, after you are done like this, you don't need bothering yourself trying to dimension it in WAEC. But if you can dimension, you can still take the pain to dimension. Clean off all other excess lines that are not needed. All these lines I'm cleaning off is not needed, it's not part of the drawing. So my construction lines, you can see the center line, right? You can see the center line in the middle there. You can also see the center line of the base here. Do you get it now? So I can call this base, this point, center 5, like this. Do you get it now? After I draw this center 5, then your drawing is not complete until you label what you have drawn. Your drawing is not complete until you label what you have drawn. So how do we label? I will draw 3 guidelines, well spaced. I will draw 3 guidelines, well spaced. Then I will do my labeling, my naming with block letters. This is a ball, so I will write like this, a ball. No style in your lettering, no style. Should be block letters, capital letters all through, a ball, like this. So I want to say a very big thank you for following me all through this video, and I appreciate your tenacity to be better in technical drawing. Keep practicing. The secret to technical drawing is practicing. The more you practice, the better you become. And I can't wait to see you on the next video. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Technical drawing made easy. Thank you very much.